Okay, so guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're keeping well. Now, as of a few days ago, we saw that Reform UK were polling astronomically high in the 20s, you know, making it a close race between themselves, the Labour Party and the Conservative Tories. Now, just a very quick introduction before we proceed into Harriet Harman. I believe she was a former MP, Labour MP's response to Reform UK climbing the ranks in the polls. I just have to make one or 2 points be known, and that is point number one. People are fed up of what seems to be a uniparty between the Conservatives and the Labour. They believe that regardless of which way they vote, you are getting the same policies. You are being sold out on the promise of Brexit. You know, you were getting, well, that's from the Conservative parties for many, many years. You were getting a disastrous Labour government. In fact, I was even reading it today that Keir Starmer wants to sell democracy and he wants to get the UK back into the EU. I was literally watching a video and reading articles on that today. He's doing this secretly behind the scenes. You know, is he going to disguise it? You know, is he going to try and, you know, put the UK back into the EU? I don't even know what's going on right now with this Labour government. Every policy seems to be disastrous. But anyway, that's besides the point. But they believe that they are getting the same policies, regardless of what Harriet Harman says in this video. I know you want to use fear-mongering tactics to scare people, to say, no, they have no past record of government. You never know. They're using easy dialogue, easy language for complex situations and complex problems. People don't care. People literally don't care. They want change. They are hungry for change. The border is open under the Conservative government and the Labour government. More's coming in, you know, churches are being converted to mosques. You know, there's crime going on the streets. People are fed up of being lectured to. They're fed up of promises that are never getting fulfilled. They are fed up of sitting on the sideline and witnessing a two-tier system that seems to be benefiting everyone except people in this country, you know, citizens. In addition, Reform UK's Nigel Farage is the only one pledging to exit the ECHR. You know, the Conservative government couldn't get that done. The Labour government for sure are not exiting the ECHR. And Nigel Farage has said, you know what, for us to take control of our borders, we need to exit the ECHR. So he's the only one that's coming up with an actual feasible plan to stop the boats. You know, record numbers of immigrants were coming in under the Conservative government and also this Labour government. So nothing seems to be changing. Regardless of what you say, Harriet Harman, it's not going to change anything. People will still vote Reform in the next election. It's just the truth. When people want change, they couldn't care less. They're fed up of being lied to. They just want change, and that's just simple. And people are very hungry for it. So whatever she says, the people are not going to be listening to that. So yeah. But anyway, guys, let's get straight into this content of Harriet Harman talking about, you know, Reform doing well, and we'll just come with a quick analysis at the end.
Christina, this is the political beneficiaries of all this seems to be Mr. Nigel Farage and his party, Reform. What do you think the Conservatives particularly have to do to deal with Reform?
I mean, they obviously have to be coming up with better solutions for some of these issues that Reform is managing to attract people to vote for. But, you know, we're seeing in other countries this same kind of thing, and you could argue Trump too, that people are disillusioned with what they see as established politics, and they feel that they want something else, something outside.
Harriet, it's not just the Tories who have to be worried. Mr. Farage is after Labour seats as well, and I think the number now was they came second in 89 seats to Labour. How worried should the party be about the threat, or the challenge, I should say, from Farage?
Well, I think people should be very concerned about Reform, because they're not just a threat to individual parties, but I actually think they're a threat to democracy, because they are offering easy answers to real problems, which are not a solution and will just increase people's distrust and disillusionment. But I think the Shadow Minister who you had on was really in denial about the situation. If you look at the council by-election results, and I'm afraid I look at them every Friday morning very anxiously after the Thursday council by-elections, what they show, I know, is that they show a real fall in Labour's support. If you look at the percentage change, it's not just about who's won, it's who's voting and what the percentage change is. And Reform from a standing start is like gaining 40%, whereas the Labour's down, but the Tories are massively down as well. And I think that the main threat to Reform currently, from Reform, is to the Tory party. And what I didn't see is any acknowledgement, and we haven't seen this either from Kemi Badenoch, that Reform is a problem. They're saying it's not a problem. Until they say, look, we're really up against it, they won't start dealing with it.
So guys, there we have it. You know, regardless of what Harriet Harman says, you know, you can use fear-mongering tactics. It's not gonna work. I'm telling you, it's really not. It's just not gonna work. Fear-mongering tactics is what I'm kind of looking at Farage as a Trump. Like, the more they're using fear-mongering tactics to attack, like how they did Donald Trump, the more popular he was getting. And I'm gonna see the same thing. We're gonna see it mirrored in the United Kingdom with Nigel Farage and Reform UK. You know, I was covering this like 4 or 5 months ago. I was talking about how I said like Nigel Farage wouldn't win the election that just went, but I said he will be a huge problem for the next election. I said it. I didn't see anyone else saying it, just maybe 1 or 2 other people were saying it, but I remember saying it. I was, you know, vocalizing, you know, my thoughts and saying how, you know, in the next election, you know, the Conservative Tories and the Labour Party have to watch out, because, you know, Reform UK will come, and they will come with steam. And do not sleep on Nigel Farage. I'm telling you, the worst thing you can do is sleep on that man. I'm telling you, anything can happen. You know, when people have had enough, we've seen it in history. Once people have had enough, they've had enough. You can't tell them anything. They just want to go in a different direction, and that's what they will choose to do come next election if things don't get better. And things definitely don't seem to be getting better under this Labour government. I can be honest, the Conservatives did mess up 110%. I was watching them mess up, but the Labour Party are not doing any better. And as we just saw, like, there's been no economic growth. So let me get this right. Rachel Reeves, I don't even know if she's been fired yet. I need to check that out. Has put forth a budget of just increasing taxes. That's it. Just increase everyone's taxes. And we are still in economic decline. Can you imagine that? But life is more expensive for the average person going about their day-to-day business. So yeah, but anyway guys, let's see what happens. I'm going to keep up to date with this and let you know. But anyway guys, like, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you at the next video. Peace.